So very good morning to everybody. Back out with RB on yet another one for 4 test rides today, and it's all the same bike. I have 4 grey Titans to ride. These Titans have gone absolutely crazy over the last week. We've sold the last 4 that we have in the showroom. We're waiting for March now, March beginning of April, for the next delivery of Titans. So we've got 4 greys left, and the last 4 greys already in prepped, and just down to me to ride test these for the customers at the obligatory 40 mile an hour running in speed. So we're going to go out and get some mileage out on these. Now obviously, if you are looking at a Lexmoto scooter, and I do bang on about this all the time, these Titans are absolutely bomb proof. Unless you are an absolute blithering idiot, you don't know how to maintain your motorcycle. Good lane position there from the car. But absolutely perfect scooters these, if you look after them. Now the idea is keep them clean. If you are using them as a daily ride, it's only going to cost you like an extra 10 minutes of your time, a couple of times a night. Pop to local garage, give it a quick blast over with a jet wash at a distance, and keep the damn thing clean. 90% of the issues that we get with Titans are customers not keeping them clean, not maintaining them, letting them absolutely rot to hell because people just use them as a daily ride. And obviously, if you are a youngster, up to you to make sure that you service it and keep up with your warranty regime on these. But as I say, most of the issues that you get on a Titan is going to be people not knowing how to maintain a bike, or riding it out of accordance with the running in process. So 40 mile an hour, first 500 kilometers, 311 miles, service out the way, get your oil and filter changed, and then you are good for 50 mile an hour, and that will take you up to 1500 kilometers, 932 miles. But if you're not going to do that, you're going to absolutely rag the pants off it. These things are not going to last you 5 seconds. So do make sure that if you are buying a bike, you're spending money on it, and it's hard-earned money every time. Make sure that you look after it, treat it with some respect. It's like obviously buying one of the top of the range cars, a Ferrari or a Porsche, and taking it stock car racing. You're not going to want to do that. Same sort of principle, look after your vehicle. But these things are absolutely lovely, and obviously I'm not a scooter lover myself. And just to check these, I'm going to come in on the front brake first, nice and hard, and then come in on that combined braking. Now the combined braking on this will give you 70-30 or about 60-40, so it's rear to front. But we normally say 70-30, 60-40, but you're always going to get more progressive brake pressure off of the front brake. But we always say front brake, dry weather, rear brake, wet weather. Or if you're a little bit more experienced, then obviously a little bit of back, and then apply the front just to get that extra braking force. But obviously stay away from the braking on corners, unless you're like me that likes to trail brake going into corners, and that is something that you can learn as well. But if you are buying one, these things are absolutely beautiful. They do what says on the tin. Nice cheap scooter for £1,490 all in, and obviously other dealers do charge different on the road fees. We charge £190 because we do a very big lot of prep. And obviously the Lexmoto range, very good. And obviously people knock on about, oh, I wouldn't touch a Chinese scooter. You will find most of your Chinese scooters, even your big branded bikes now, are all made in China. For instance, the Honda CG, and obviously the ZSXF that Lexmoto do, there's about 500 yards difference between the 2 factories. All same engine components near enough, and they both do the same job. And obviously a lot of people, yeah, but they're slow on speed. They are deliberately underpowered to save it for the longevity of the engine. If you look at most of the scooters and bikes, and we've had an absolute rakeful through this week, and we've had some awful bikes into the workshop this week that were so badly maintained, it is absolutely unbelievable. Had a little Lexmodo dart in, and obviously the guy's been having a fiddle and came into us with electrical issues, burnt wiring. It does help when you do not connect the starter positive and the battery positive straight to the frame. But obviously if you're going to get your bike maintained, make sure you take it to an approved mechanic. Don't let a friend tinker around with it. It's not the sort of thing that you would let anybody do. And then the other main thing with these, and we are getting a lot of them at the moment, people not checking their tyre pressures. Because obviously as a regime, any vehicle that comes into us has a quick health check, or we're doing any work on it, we'd always just go around the bike, advise the hell out of it, and obviously check all the tyre pressures. We had one in yesterday, front end steering a little bit funny. Yeah, that's probably the reason that you've only got 12 psi in your front tyre. What should it be? Check your handbook. Most front tyres on bikes are normally either between 30 to 34 on the front, and are normally around about 34 to 38 on the rear. But obviously check your handbook, all tyre pressures are different according to each bike. That should be one of the things that you're doing, is your weekly regime. Weekly regime, guys, should be checking all your light functions. Does your horn work? Are your indicators working? Have you got both dip beams? If you've got two at the front, does your main beam work? Is my oil level good? If I've got a chain, is my chain tension good? If I've got a drive belt, is it making any funny noises? And finally, tyre pressures. Just give that bike a good looking over before you ride it every day. And obviously I check every bike before I take it out. I'm not going to take a bike out that I know is going to be deemed dangerous, or it's going to be causing me risk. So that is one of the things that I would always say, make sure that you keep your bike maintained. And then obviously finally, and that's another thing that I do knock on about, if you are going to the garage to fill up your bike, use the decent stuff. What is the point in scrimping, putting supermarket fuel in your bike? Supermarket fuel is cheap for a reason, normally because it contains all the crap and all the water and all the silicone, all the dirt, all the bits of flakes that everybody else doesn't want. And that is the reason why supermarket fuel is cheap. It's because it comes off the bottom of the fuel bunting. And for that extra couple of pence more per litre, especially if you're doing something like 100 to the gallon, is a couple of pence per trip going to be worth it putting the cheap fuel in? Absolutely not. I'd always say use the good stuff. If you're going to BP, use the Ultimate. If you're going to Shell, use the V-Power. If you're filling up at one of the other stations like a Moco, Texaco, one of the prime stations, give it a blast of the good stuff. Try and avoid supermarket fuel. It's great in your car, it's alright if you're using it in a big bike, not going to cause you an issue, but a 125 or a 50, I would always say use the decent fuel on it. It is going to obviously protect your bike a little bit more. Now obviously we're out to do the first little bit of urban mileage on this one, so we're going to crank up the first lot of mileage on the first one. And I probably will string all these videos together. Ooh, that's a great overtake off the roundabout with no indicator. And as you can tell, drivers in Milton Keynes don't give a damn. Luckily I've got big mirrors and I'm doing a lot of shoulder checking, so I'm very, very aware of what's going on behind me. Mirrors on these Titans are absolutely lovely. Got about a third of my shoulder in these mirrors. Seating position nice and firm. Hand position is great. And obviously with these Titans, if you want a little bit of extra storage space, you can fit a top box to the rear of these, 32 litre, 42 litre. We normally tend to tell the customers to opt for a 32, which is enough to take a full-faced helmet, or it will take your backpack, take your daily sandwich to work. Now obviously a couple of things coming up on my channel. If you missed the live stream that we did Tuesday, and a couple of bikers in there. It was obviously the first feed that we'd ever done, and it was nice to have a couple of motor vloggers join me. So Jim Diesel popped in, ZED Motor Vlogs popped in, and we had the Isle of Wight biker, he popped in as well. And it was nice to see one of our new followers. He had a webcam, he jumped on. Thanks very much, Terry, for popping in. Now he obviously hadn't bought a bike yet, but he said, I am looking at getting myself a little Lexmoto. So obviously he had a lot of advice from the bikers in the room, and he had a few tips, and he's going to probably get himself a bike once he's got his CBT. Now CBTs at the moment are all restricted, due to the fact that it's locked down. Nobody can get a CBT for love or money unless you are an emergency services worker or one of the forces, and that is the only people that are going to be getting CBTs. But you do have to apply for a special license to get that CBT, which I think is quite absurd. So what we're going to do, we're going to work back to the garage now. We've got 7k on this one, so half of my ride test mileage. We're going to put about 20 on every bike. I shall jump on the second bike in a while once I've opened the garage up, had a cup of tea and had the obligatory cigarette, and then we shall get out and ride test a few more. I might do it as one big video, or I might just do it as separate ones, and obviously just update you with what's going on. Obviously before we finish this video, and this one's going to be up quite early, so this is currently riding Thursday. This should be up Thursday night, Friday morning. If you are watching this video Friday night 9 PM, jump onto YouTube, type into your search browser up the top The Military Biker, and we are going to be having a big meetup at 9 o'clock on the YouTube channel. He's got enough for about 12 spaces, so if you are a moto vlogger, look forward to seeing you on the live stream. If you happen to be just someone that's interested in bikes, come along and join in the live feed. There are going to be a lot of big bikers in there, so obviously Military Biker's going to be in there, Bikes, Beards and Brews, ZN Motovlog's going to be there, probably Jim Diesel, Diesel's Hogs, Ponkstar, Isle of Wight Rider. There's so many, I can't name them all. It just slips my memory, but there's normally around 10 of us. Burning Gas, Hauling Ass is another one that's going to be in there, and all those guys are all very, very knowledgeable. Most of them are Harley riders. Jim Diesel rides an Aprilia RSV, and obviously Z-Head Motovlogs, he rides a ZZR 1400, same as me. But very, very knowledgeable guys, and it's worth just watching it, just see those bikers all just chatting, and we just tend to babble on about stuff. So new bikes that are coming on the market, what we've been doing for the week, introducing ourselves, telling the public a little bit about ourselves. But Military Biker is very, very good channel, so if you are into your moto vlogging and you like to obviously watch a few YouTube videos, come and join the guys on the live stream, and that's going to be 9 o'clock this coming Friday night, which is going to be the 26th, I believe. So jump onto that channel. As always, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, hit that notifications bell. If you are into a Lexmoto bike, or you want to obviously reserve one, you can give the guys at Eclipse Motorcycles a call, 01908 643 603. Website's down the bottom end, and that is Eclipse Motorcycles, mk.co.uk. All my stuff on my channel, revbomb.co.uk, and all the links are on the social media channel. That's the Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We're going to head back to the garage now, finish riding this Titan, absolutely perfect as I expected it to be. And until the next time, from a nicely snug, warm RB on an early Thursday morning, be well guys, ride safe if you are riding, and from RB and the crew, it's a big goodbye from me.